a Playlyst original.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast,
where we review the pilot episodes of TV shows to answer your question, should I watch this?
My name is Mitu.
And my name is BJ.
And this week, we're watching Royal Pains, originally airing on USA and now on Prime Video and Netflix.
So stay tuned to find out if Mitu would ever consider being a concierge doctor.
Ooh, being a concierge doctor. Okay.
Or PA.
I will keep that option in mind. Until then, why don't you let us know what happened in this first episode?
Sure. After the death of hospital benefactor Hank Lawson, played by Mark Feuerstein, a young, brilliant surgeon becomes discredited and blacklisted. And so, his brother Evan Lawson, played by Paul Costanzo, takes him to the Hamptons, and after a few medical emergencies, he gets offered to be a concierge doctor for the summer. So, Mitu, what are your first impressions of this show?
I looked it up and I saw a doctor review the show and said that it was oddly accurate, but accurate to the extent of Hank would have to be a radiologist, a surgeon, like internist, all of these different kinds of doctors wrapped up into one because he has this odd level of expertise, not just broad knowledge in all of these different areas. So I think there's this line towed between medical accuracy and vibes, because also how is this man operating on people with pens, duct tape, and a can-do attitude?
That is such a good point to highlight because we see him start off as an ER surgeon. He is considered a star in his field and the best doctor at the hospital that he worked at. But in a lot of these medical dramas, the brilliant doctors know everything. And you and I know a lot of people in the medical field, and they are so specialized that they would never be this helpful in every situation.
100%. I have friends and family who are doctors, and I'll be like, I saw this thing. What do you think about it? And they're like, girl, I don't know nothing about that. I'm a radiologist. Or I do radiology specifically for this part of people's bodies. So don't go asking me about feet because I work with the upper body or whatever it is. A legitimate conversation I had with the radiologist I love in my life. Where it's like, I know about this corner of the human body or this function of the human body, and you can keep it cute right there. And he has that level of specialist knowledge about everything. And a lot of these, to your point, expert doctors on these shows or very smart doctors on these shows are like that. With that said, he's a very charming lead for the show and very much written as the doctor who wants to save everybody. And I think sometimes that can feel annoying in a character, and I don't feel annoyed by it in this pilot. I like him.
He's very likable. Everyone seems to fall in love with him and want him around, wants to be his friend, wants to just give him money. So it's a little extreme at times, but it is nice to have your medical hero be someone who's genuinely trying to help people.
We have Divya, played by Reshma Shetty, who hears of his exploits, volunteers herself as PA, and gets the business cracking for him to be a medical concierge. And as you said, Beej, the Hamptons converged on this man. And what is so interesting about the show, and maybe a testament to how talented Hank is at doctoring, is that this is a show about very wealthy people. And this is back when TV had real good budgets. And so we get to see wealth in these mansions and in these settings. And these very wealthy people, in theory, with access to some of the best medicine right there in New York, not so far away, they're choosing to go to him with the pens and the duct tape and the can-do attitude to do their medical care.
Yes. As you know, Hamptons, a very exclusive, tight-knit community. They are telling each other their business within minutes, really real-time communication. And they're so private, despite telling each other everything that's happening. They don't want to go to a hospital for medical care because, you know, big medicine, they're going to send your records somewhere. But Hank, he'll keep them private.
Even though he does a lot of his stuff at Hamptons Heritage, the local hospital, because he is a man and not someone who, let's say, can walk around with an MRI machine.
Well, Hampton Heritage is a icky, nasty hospital, and he just happens to go there because they have some equipment and supplies that he wants.
While we are joshing about this show, one thing I really like about it, and I really liked this pilot, is the crew. So Hank, a lovely lead, but also Divya and Evan had me cracking up.
They are fun counters to Hank's more serious personality, and I think you need that for this team dynamic where they're having some fun. One's super ambitious, one is super greedy.
Yeah, I think he's ambitious in a different way. I assume the greedy one you're talking about is Evan.
Mm-hmm.
That's, super ambitious, cloaked in green. But he just is also a silly goose, too. And I like that as a foil to Divya's more serious character.
And we have the mysterious Boris, played by Campbell Scott, who is originally described as a trillionaire. Let's just assume a billionaire. But he has so many secrets and is also the one that paid Hank with a gold bar.
Yeah, I would love for any sort of money person, did you major in business? Do you have an MBA? Do you simply enjoy going on Robinhood? Please explain to me how someone extracts money from a gold bar, like how that works. I'm just very curious about that currency exchange. I recognize that is extremely valuable, what he did, but how do I then translate that to like Instacart? Like, how do I get my groceries? Also, Boris is so obsessed with discretion that he's like, actually, Hank and Evan, go ahead and move into my house so that when I need you, you are on my beck and call. And there are some mysterious things going on with me that I might need your help for. But you're also free to conduct your business out of my house.
It's odd, this mix of keep my secrets and roam around, do whatever.
Let people come onto the property.
Invite strangers into my home. And one of the early scenes of Hank that helped impress Boris was a medical emergency at one of his house parties. And we also know everyone in the Hamptons heard about what happened there. That's how Hank's number got passed around.
Yes, you can actually measure the speed of light by the speed with which information travels through the Hamptons. I will say about that scene with the model passed out that he saves is the medical cases get a little gross.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even in the beginning, we have a classic procedural moment where he fixes someone's body pretty early on, like just right at the opening. So you just automatically understand that this person is highly skilled. That scene was pretty gross. He cuts someone open. It gets pretty gross. And, no spoilers here for our ratings, but obviously I have continued to watch this procedural. And it oscillates between gross and not gross. But the gross thing kind of continues. So if you're sensitive about seeing vomit or blood, there's an odd amount here on this USA procedural.
Even in the pilot, not just the series, yeah.
Yes.
I think this was released in an era where showing more of that made it feel more authentic. Like, oh, we're actually seeing him practice medicine.
That's true. Very House.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing with the cases for me was that there were too many. We saved too many lives in this first episode.
I agree. They didn't need all of this in the pilot. It felt like they were trying to prove over and over that Hank is a talented doctor. And after 2 cases, I already believe that.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Although that's also all Hank really does in the series. So I guess they were running out of other things for him to do. He can only go to so many Hampton parties.
That's true. Although it seems that every one of these parties, someone will just pass out. And then he'll get a pen, a duct tape, get his attitude in order, and then fix them up.
Good thing he's there.
With that said, I like this setup. So would you like to go into ratings for Royal Pains on USA, currently on Prime and Netflix?
I would. You gave a hint that you may be watching more episodes, but will you turn that into a formal rating for the listener?
Yes, because what this show does very well, And what I like about this procedural is it has a fantastic setup. I am curious about this world. They've sowed enough seeds of mystery for some sort of larger story throughout the show. And also the day-to-day of him figuring out some medical mystery. They write it really well. It's compelling and it's funny. So I want to keep watching. And if you are procedural hive, I would argue, even if you're not necessarily medical procedural hive, I think you'll really enjoy this show. So I've been watching it again seriously. I know often in my rating, I'll be like, I was tempted to watch the next episode, but I refrained because I know BJ is going to find me out. And in this case, I've decided to just fully embrace honesty.
I love that.
Midway through 2024, it's never too late for resolutions. I really kept watching. I'm in season 3. I've sort of really powered through this show. It's a great show to have on while you're working for work from home hive. So this one is for procedural baddies. This one's for us.
Wow, season 3. Okay.
And mind you, I have not watched 3 seasons of the show in the last week. No judgment if that is something that you do. That is something that I've done before. But still, I got it done pretty quickly.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I am going to change up my rating a bit. So I watched the show during its original run. It does have 8 seasons. I probably fell off around season 6. But I'm still suggesting that people who have not seen it before watch it again seriously. I think it's an excellent medical drama. I really love the cast from the first 4 to 5 seasons. I will hint I drop off because of some characters and storylines later on, but the beginning run is totally worth people's time.
I am so intrigued to get to where you drop to see who it is that you didn't like. Now I want to keep watching just for that. I want to guess who pissed off BJ.
I think you'll be able to figure it out. You know me well enough.
I think so, too. Ooh, challenge for our listeners. I'm just kidding. Mainline 5 seasons of this show.
And pick one character that really ruined it for BJ.
Who do we hate?
Okay, while people play that game, let's go back to our fun game of finding out if you would want to be a concierge doctor or physician's assistant.
Absolutely, I would not.
Wow, you don't want to help people?
I do not want to help people by cutting them open with duct tape, sticking the pen in their throats, and just having a dream. I want to be like a raisin in the sun, a dream deferred when it comes to being a doctor in people's houses and performing surgery on their couches and sanitizing cuts with vodka. I'm okay on that.
It's not for everyone, and that's okay.
I am not woman enough to be Hank. He's a much stronger woman than I.
You are not Hank, and I think that's what's great about you. You're you.
Exactly. May we all stay in our lanes.
Well, you can find more things in our lane by heading to our website at thepilotpodcast.com, and you can follow us on all of your favorite podcast platforms.
You can also follow us on social media at The Pilot Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and X, and you can send thoughts, feelings, and show recommendations because every other week, just like this one, we do a show recommended by you, our wonderful listeners, to askthepilotpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Bye.